Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome back to Ella Bandula. Today we are going to be reading some Reddit stories and playing a little bit of Fae FArm in the background. I have a special guest with me, and I'm going to be explaining to her what we're going to do. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. I hope you have fun. Okay. So, the first Reddit story is called, and all these stories come with an update, by the way, because I hate listening to stories or reading stories and then them not having an update, and I want to know what happens or how it concludes. Agree?
Agree.
Okay. So, all of these stories come with updates. I don't know if they're interesting because I haven't read them yet. So I'm going to read the story. You will tell me if you think they were voted asshole or not the asshole and why. And then I will read the update. Hello. So this one is called Am I the Asshole for Blasting Disney Music? Hello. I, 16 female, have an older brother, 19 male, who's one of those prank YouTubers and TikTokers. He's been doing this kind of content since 2017. First on YouTube, then expanding to TikTok for short form around 2020. He's decently popular with children and makes some pretty good money from it. It's annoying for me and I hate it. As his little sister, I'm constantly having a camera shoved in my face even when I'm busy. He's pranked me by pretending to delete my school projects off my laptop, throwing out my homework, study material, and once fabricated a fake report card that he gave to my tech illiterate parents, which got me grounded for a month, even after I proved that my grades are good because they never go back on their punishments. He has also come to my work to surprise me and prank me, which has gotten me in trouble with my manager until they moved me to working in the back and not up front with customers because he'd come so much. With my money, I recently bought a Bluetooth speaker, and whenever I see him with his stupid camera, I blast whatever Disney music I can. Let It Go, We Don't Talk About Bruno, anything I can, because Disney is vicious with copyright and the footage is useless. He's tried talking to me about it before, usually on camera, to work out our issue, which means me stopping so that he can go back to making money off pranking me. Because I'm apparently very popular with his audience, he's been slowly losing views and followers, which he is blaming me and my speaker for. My parents are taking his side as he's proving for us that he's the golden child. So Reddit, am I the asshole? And edit, please stop telling me to expose him or make a call-out post and exposing him. I don't and will not make a permanent social media account anywhere, so that isn't possible. So what do you think? Is this sister the asshole for blasting Disney music whenever her brother tries to prank her? Her parents think she's the asshole.
Not the asshole. I'm sorry. Her parents are choosing sides right now. They have 2 kids and they should not be choosing sides. He's been once or twice pranked, fine. But a lifetime of being pranked, it's enough. Keep blasting the music. I would too.
I agree. I think it's a smart way to get his videos sort of basically to render them useless. I think the parents are choosing his side because he's bringing in money, apparently good money. So he's 19, so they probably have him paying for some rent or bills or something. So I agree. So the audience also voted that the commenters also voted that he is not the asshole. And we are going to go straight to the update. Well, let's read the top comment and then go to the update. The top comment is simple. It says, not the asshole, he is harassing you against your consent. If he can't make views without harassing you, that's not really making money himself, is he? Good point. Okay, so let's go to the update. Update. Am I the asshole for blasting Disney music? I didn't expect my post to blow up like it did, but I thought that everyone would want to know I'm safe. For those who thought my brother would try and destroy my speaker, was right. He destroyed multiple, but I kept buying more as they were cheap and I have a lot of money saved up for when I eventually move out. I also told my best friend's mom everything. Before all this, she knew that my brother made content online, which is why I always go to my friend's house and not the other way around. I practically live there anyway, so she very quickly agreed that I can stay until I turn 18. While packing my stuff, I started participating in pranks again to keep my brother and parents happy so they wouldn't be suspicious. I kept telling my brother about an epic prank I was planning, and a few clips of me talking about it were in the videos and fans got really hyped for it. Something's going on with that sentence. The prank was me taking the last of the stuff that was still in my room and using a lot of printer paper and tape to write notes all over my walls, bed, desk, everywhere that said things along the lines of "have fun without me," "I'm not coming back," and "I hate your pranks," and other comments. I doubt he'll post the video, but I like to imagine he turned purple seeing it. I'm currently at my best friend's house, and we are working things out legally so that I can stay without my parents claiming I was kidnapped or anything. I'm also considering getting a restraining order against my brother, and I'm looking for a new job, hopefully with better pay, so he can't try to see me while I'm at work. I still won't be making any social media or exposing my brother. He can lose his fans on his own without my help, and I can stay anonymous and out of public eye. Thank you everyone who gave me advice. I really appreciate it. And the top comment for that one said, "Congrats, a life free of your brother's pranks must feel like a whole new world." I don't know, I feel like these Reddit posts, like I'm glad if this is a real story that she got out. But
it's sad that she had to move that far to get away from her brother's prank. That it's sad that her parents would choose her choose sides and not sit down and have a talk with her brother. Now this family is split, which is very sad because when something like that happened to a person, they feel like it's lonely. Although she has a friend, her family choose not to be on her side. She's losing her family that should, parents that should support her or support both kids, but in a proper way, you know?
exactly. So I want another update actually, because she didn't talk too much about her parents or how they reacted or what she said. So she's worried. She said she's worried about them trying to claim she was kidnapped, but she didn't say much about their reaction when they noticed that she moved out or when they noticed that she was moving out.
Well,
So I
shouldn't be shocked and surprised. I mean, if you can't support both your kids equally and, be equal with your kids in your feelings, your thoughts, the way you're raising them, they shouldn't expect anything better than her wanting to get away from them.
exactly.
It's sad that parents would choose sides over to the children. I mean, they should be equally treated with respect. If you need her space, give her her space. Don't
don't overstep her boundaries.
Yeah, don't
Like,
let
don't
her
side-
trespass on her space. You need to give
Like boundaries, just respect.
Exactly.
I think
There are boundaries where you should respect, and her space was not respected, and it seems like her brother had control of the whole house. No matter what she did or where she went, he was allowed to trespass and
exactly.
overstep her boundaries, overstep his limit on her space.
Exactly, because I think he was a golden child. So he brought in extra money. He was like the famous, popular one with followers and a YouTube, whatever. So it's like all those like celebrity parents, like not celebrity parents, but parents of like celebrity kids that are pushing the kids into the spotlight or whatever. They're just in it for the money. That's my opinion.
If that's the case, the one that's not in the spotlight always get left out and miss and abuse emotionally, especially.
Exactly. That's what I think. So I'm glad she got out. Hopefully they learned their lesson. Hopefully they changed their tune and maybe apologize or recognize their ways. But I don't think she'd move back at that point because I think trust is gone. Are you ready for story 2? The next story is called, Would I Be the Asshole for Suing My Daughter-in-Law? So there's an edit at the beginning. I guess I'll read it first. It says, edit, they aren't married. Referring to her as daughter-in-law is just easier for the sake of storytelling. So I'm guessing it's the son's girlfriend. Our son and daughter-in-law, 26 years old, have been together for 2 years and live together. We've always thought she was a very nice girl and she seems to make my son happy, so no problem for us. Our son has his own law firm that he's currently trying to get started. We are very proud of him, and we're fortunate enough to help him with a startup loan. Daughter-in-law works a retail job that she's very happy with. Some time ago, husband and I were over at their apartment and we decided to order some food. Husband and I wanted to pay, and since daughter-in-law was ordering from her phone, we gave her our credit card so she could draw the money from our account. We thought it goes without saying that this was to draw an amount once for the lunch. However, daughter-in-law apparently put her card into her Apple Pay and has been using it since. We didn't notice for some months, but recently saw withdrawals we didn't recognize. We had our accountant look into it and he discovered that 1, daughter-in-law has been using our card on her phone, and that 2, she spent around $17,000. We were quite shocked and called her up and asked why the hell she's been using our card. She got very defensive, tries to deny it, and eventually said she was entitled to it, and why do we care since we haven't noticed her use in over 4 months? We told her she needed to pay us back immediately or we'd report her actions for theft. She apparently doesn't have the money to pay us back. We've gone to our son and he's offered to pay us back even though he actually can't afford to. This isn't about the money for us, but more about the fact that she's stolen a huge amount of money. While we are comfortable and it took us some time to notice, we still recognize the seriousness of stealing $17,000 US. Our son has completely dismissed her behavior and excused it as her being stressed. She's taken no responsibility, and we are honestly wanting to go forward with a police report to teach her consequences to her actions. Goodness. Would we be the asshole for doing this? What do you think? Would they be the asshole for suing this lady, this poor lady who is so stressed out that she had to steal $17,000 to compensate for her working retail?
They will not be the asshole. I am sorry, Madam Entitled should not steal. I mean, there are consequences when you steal, and she has to learn that there are consequences, and her son has to know that he cannot allow his parents to be abused financially by anyone, whether it's his girlfriend or friend or even himself. There are consequences when you steal, and you should have to pay the consequences, and she should be entitled to pay it back.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And there's no surprise here that they were voted not the asshole. So before we go to the update, should we read the top comment?
Yes.
Okay, the top comment with 24.2 thousand votes was not the asshole. $17,000 is theft. $17,000 in theft is $17,000 in theft. Inexcusable behavior on her part. Don't sue, just report her to the cops. Okay. And now for the update. Update. Would I be the asshole for suing my daughter-in-law? Thank you for all your feedback. I got many requests for an update, so here goes. We were utterly and completely shocked with our son's nonchalant way of handling this and at a loss. We desperately wanted to fight for our son, but since the initial confrontation, he had been avoiding us. We decided we would take the advice and call the police to press charges. However, we wanted to let our son know before doing so. Husband and I decided to show up at his office since he had been ignoring our calls and texts. I know this might sound boundary crossing to some, but we desperately wanted to talk to our son. Initially, he got angry and asked us to leave, but he calmed down and agreed to hear us out. We told him our side of the story, and to say the least, he was shocked. He apologized profusely, cried a little, and begged for forgiveness. He told us he was blinded by love, working 14-hour days, and under the impression we had gifted his girlfriend the money. His girlfriend had apparently told him that he wanted to spoil her as our future daughter-in-law, and that we gave her a carte blanche to buy herself nice things as a way to welcome her to the family, and that we'd since changed our minds on spoiling her, and now wanted all the money back knowing she can't afford it. She had told him that we did that as a manipulative way to force her out of his life, to try and control him. He was also under the impression that she'd spent maybe $3,000 to $5,000 and not $17,000. He was livid and was actually the one who in the end convinced us to pursue legal action. He actually helped us call the police right then and there at his office after our talk. We then went with him home and helped him pack up all her stuff before she came home. She wasn't on the lease, living rent-free, so kicking her out was no issue. We offered to stay with him for the blow-up, but he wanted to handle it on his own. From what he's told me, she didn't take this lightly. So our son's ex now has been pressed with charges, and we're awaiting further information. Like some of you pointed out, it's a sufficient amount, and she's been pressed with criminal charges. Our bank has also been informed, and we're told we'll likely get our money back. She blew up on the entire family, but our other daughter-in-law is taking her side. Other daughter-in-law is a whole story for another time perhaps, but we are now glad to officially announce that we are thief-free in the family. We appreciate all your feedback and engagement. All right, so that one was another happy ending. Oh. Thank goodness. So that worked well. Thank goodness the sun saw the light. So I think that had a good conclusion. I hope the OP tells us about the other daughter-in-law at some point. I'll have to look at the account and find out. Shall we move on to story number 3? The next story is called, Am I the Asshole for Running Away from Home? Okay, original post here. Throwaway because my dad's on Reddit. Sorry if long. I, 15 female, will be a junior in high school once the new school year starts. I have a little brother I'll call Matt, 3 male. My parents both work full-time jobs in the business district. I was a planned baby, but Matt wasn't. My parents considered putting him up for adoption, but couldn't do it. They don't know I know this. Once my mom ended her maternity leave 2 weeks early, there was a schedule of who watched Matt when. Mom leaves for work at 4:30 a.m., waking me up on the way. I watch Matt until I need to go to school at 7, and by that time my dad is up and takes over. I get home from school at 3:45, and my dad leaves for his work at no later than 4 p.m. I watch him until my mom gets home at 6 p.m. For the first year, that's how it went. I was fine with that. Now, my mom has shifted her hours to work later. I watch Matt till he sleeps, and I can't sleep till my mom gets home, which is usually 10 to 11 at night. On top of that, I do anything that needs doing at home. I'm in AP classes and have homework to do as well. Matt's not very well behaved. He's had health issues since birth that cause him discomfort. He's a toddler, and I get that, but his tantrums and general demeanor make it hard for me to get things done. The two things that tore me down most happened a week before school ended back in May. I managed to talk to my mom and asked her if we could please hire a sitter to look after Matt. I want to take on some extracurriculars. Her response was that they didn't need to waste money on that because they had me. 2 days later, my mom got home at 5 p.m., early for her, and after eating dinner told me to ask the school if I could shorten my class load next year in order to spend more time at home, since my dad also apparently wanted to shift his hours. I told her no. She got mad, saying I needed to be more understanding and accepting. I had enough and blew up. I can't remember what was all said, but I do remember yelling that I wasn't my little brother's parent. I stormed to my room, stuffed some things in my backpack, and left while my mom was distracted by my brother. I'm safe. I called my grandmother and explained what was going on. She and my mother are estranged, but we managed to stay close. Once she picked me up and got the details, she said she understood. My parents blew up my phone, demanding that I come home, telling me I should be ashamed that I'm acting this way. But my grandmother blocked their numbers. She did talk to them, and they agreed I can stay there where I am until I get my head on straight. I feel guilty for leaving my brother, but at the same time, I feel so worn out. Other family weighed in. While most are on my side, others say I need to accept my duties in the family and suck it up. I'm conflicted and don't know what to do. Am I the asshole for running away? So what do you think? Is OP the asshole for running away when her parents want her to be parent number 3 to her brother?
She need parents herself. She's not the asshole. I mean, her brother, although it's nice to help, her brother is not her responsibility. It's her parents' responsibility. And she should not have to bear the burden of having to take care of her brother full time while she's trying to get an education in. That is completely and totally unfair. She's not her brother's keeper. She should not. It's nice to babysit and help out, as a responsible daughter, but not be forced to completely take over raising her brother. It's not her son, and she's not an asshole for leaving. She need the break.
Exactly. On Reddit, they're always calling it parentification, which is exactly what it is. This is the most extreme example. They want her to cut classes. See, stuff like that makes me question these like stories or posts. I'm like, I'm sure that happens sometimes, but really, can the parents, and they seem like educated parents, like how could they possibly be so, I don't know, self-absorbed or illogical to even like consider asking the OP to cut classes so that she can babysit?
Because they do not want the responsibility. Like she said, they wanted to give up the son, but I guess giving him up would look bad on them, and they trying to put the responsibility on her and time spent with him because they do not want to spend that extra time.
Okay, so what was that? So, as you can guess, they were voted not the asshole. I'm looking for the top comment because the top comment is an update, but they posted the update elsewhere too. So I'm looking for the second top comment, which seems to be this one here. Not the asshole. Your parents are acting horribly. Stay with your grandma until your parents get their heads on straight. And then another comment said, not the asshole. You're still a kid. You shouldn't be dealing with so much responsibility. You didn't sign up to be their unpaid babysitter. You are literally losing your childhood because your parents think you have the responsibility for your brother when they should be the ones taking care of him or hiring a nanny or a babysitter if they can't always be there for your brother. And now onto the update. Oh, let me click that. Okay. Update. Am I the asshole for running away from home? It's been a few weeks, but quite a bit has happened. I'll try my best to keep things concise. Once again, thank you for your comments and support. They mean a lot to me and my grandmother, who says hello. Firstly, my father managed to find my post despite my efforts. He told my mother about it, and she proceeded to blast me to the members of my extended family via social media, saying I made them look bad. She deleted the post a few hours later, according to my cousins who support me. A few days later, during a meeting between my parents and myself, my grandmother and our lawyer, my father apologized to me, and it felt sincere. As for my mother, she was silently fuming. Matt was at their house with one of my aunts. They agreed with great reluctance on my mother's end to give my grandmother full custody of me for the remaining 3 years as a minor. The next day, my grandmother and some of my supportive family members helped me get what I had for belongings out of my parents' house. I didn't feel true relief until that moment. Now I'm trying to enjoy my summer. I'm hanging out with friends, going swimming, relaxing, finally reading books that I bought 3 years ago that I never got a chance to read. And I'm planning extracurriculars for next semesters and even planning a birthday party, my first in 3 years, for my sweet 16 in February. I'm also helping my grandmother around the house. I do chores, but this time I'm getting an allowance. Even my sleep has improved. It's a whole new way of living and it's kind of overwhelming, but I've never been happier. Hopefully this is the last time I post. I'm going to log off Reddit and go with my grandmother for some shopping. Thank you all. Okay, so again, I thought that was, I guess, a good update for OP. Her parents seem, well, especially the mom seems a little irrational and like she wasn't willing to change or wasn't able to change her attitude much. Again, a lot of these posts, I don't know if it's just because they're highlighting only the positives, but they just seem like such, happy little happily ever after endings. And it always makes me question these Reddit posts. Like everything was so bad at first and, they move away and boom, everything is nice. I feel like all these Reddit stories follow the same formula. I don't know if it's just because human behavior is predictable. But what did you think about this last update?
Well, I'm happy she's getting a chance to live to grow in her own way, not the way her parents were forcing her to take care of a household and her brother. I'm glad she's getting a break. She can live live her age and grow up and get her education that she wants the proper way, and not having to spend extra years studying because she didn't have a chance to do it right the first time.
Exactly. I agree. Okay, so that is all for today's stories. Just want to give a thank you to our special guest and for all of you that are tuning in. Let me know in the comments if this is something that you enjoy. It's not something I do often, but I love Reddit stories. I wanted to read them more, but I didn't want to create a whole new channel. So I'm thinking maybe making this a weekly thing. Love Reddit stories, love cozy gaming. So if I can combine the two together and other people enjoy it, then why not? Thank you again for tuning in. Have a great afternoon or evening, And hopefully you will, well, hopefully I will catch you again in another video. And if you enjoyed this, please give the video a like, give the channel a subscribe, hit that subscribe button if you would like to see more of this. Thank you.